In this Star Wars Outlaws video, I will be interviewing the game's narrative director, Navid Kavari, along with Billy Gonzalez, who plays Kay, and Jay Rincon, who plays ND-5. They talk about their experience working on the game and crafting the story, plus share some really cool details about the game. Thank you very much to Ubisoft for giving me this opportunity, and I also want to just quickly note that the audio quality isn't great due to the background noise, so sorry about that. Before we do get into the interview though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future Star Wars Outlaws videos. Now for the interview.
So could you describe the thought process behind picking the factions you did, or should we keep our eye for any presence of the Black Sun or Crime in the game?
Whoa. I won't speak to Black Sun Crime, but in terms of how we went about looking at the different syndicates, I think obviously you want to hit the Hook cartel. You need to have it. There's no question. But also when we looked at, a faction like Crimson Dawn and Lady Kira, who you've seen Crimson Reign and read those comics, and you've seen what she's sort of up to, the fact that she's playing this much larger game in the galaxy, and then someone like you comes along, and in a way, she sees the galaxy so differently from Kay, that there's sort of instant sparks there that I think are really interesting to us to explore. So that was no-brainer, and then looking at a Shia clan really came from us wanting to build a syndicate that would take advantage of, what's there on Kijimi. And, and on Kijimi specifically, because you only see a slice of it in Rise of Skywalker, you're able to just sort of imagine, yes, there's a planet with that dipend monastery sort of history, but also let's layer in this syndicate, this clan that's built from scratch over generations, sort of this hive that's based around this Melito species. And then there's the Pikes. And I think, seeing the Pikes in Book of Boba Fett and Solo, and seeing how we put a spin on them, you've played, right? So seeing, being able to build someone like Gorak, who is someone maybe doesn't necessarily fit that Pike mold as much, felt very natural, because with the Pikes, we were able to show sort of the corruption of the Empire itself, right? And that was a side we really want to explore. So that was sort of the criteria. It was mostly, I think, how does it fit sort of these iconic planets that we're looking at? How does it fit with Kay? And how would she interact and react to these syndicates? And then where we can take the story, right? So I think and where that journey can go with Kay and ND-5. And you're going to hear a lot of Kay and ND-5, and ND-5 especially, providing that history, right? That knowledge of the syndicates that maybe Kay hasn't really gathered.
Is it possible to share how ND-5 has gained that knowledge of the various syndicates?
It's I guess it's just spoken about that there is history, which is obvious. I mean, being a commando droid from the era of the Clone Wars, coming into the game, living in understanding and being operating in the underworld, he would have knowledge of those things. I mean, how much firsthand knowledge? I guess we'll discover, but definitely well informed, as any droid is in Star Wars. But more so, I always know that we're in good hands working with brilliant people, good writers, but it's not just stories and listening to Nav speak about everything. It's fascinating. It's fascinating, and it's incredible, the detail and the depth and how rich all of these, words are that we see on our pages that we go and bring to life. It's proud and also humbled, and very, very lucky to be a part.
Which Criminal Syndicate do you like to side with the most in the game, and why?
Oh, that's a tough one.
There's only one right.
There is something, and it's just me as a kid. This is 6-year-old Navid talking. The Hutts, there's just something about seeing Jabba on my sort of syndicate screen, and I'm like, I made Jabba happy, that makes me like my inner kid sort of super excited.
If there is any, what was the inspiration for Zerich Bash?
Let me process for a second what I can say. I think, first and foremost, with Zerich B, he wanted a bit of a reflection of the villain of the game, Slero, who really is kind of new to sort of the underworld, but extremely rich and powerful. And we wanted the Zerich Besh to kind of reflect that. They're very cold, they're very like standoffish, and they're very going to navigate carefully. They're very powerful and lethal, and so those are sort of the elements of them being a bit of an extension of Slero's personality as well. That was super crucial. So I think there's going to be a lot more to come soon. So soon.
What was the thought process behind picking the various alien species that we see in the game? Because something I've seen in the comments in my videos is, hey, why am I not seeing like this certain species, and why are we seeing a lot of these?
Well, I think if it comes down to, it's a big answer that I'll try and distill, but I think mostly it's when we looked at the planets, we really tried to do almost like, it's like a slice the planet into pieces, right? You have the architecture, you have the culture that you might find within it, the fauna, the flora, and then when you factor all those elements in, what was actually really important to us was that it feels lived in, and it feels like you're experiencing everything in terms of quality, not necessarily quantity, right? So there's something with open world games that you have to be careful not to just throw so many things at the player that they don't really register exactly what they're seeing. And so when you're navigating Americana, like the city of Americana, when you're navigating Jonta's Hope, we're very particular about who you would run into. So there is sort of a method.
So it's not like the same sort of NPCs you'll see across each planet.
You're going to see a lot across, Star Wars is, that's the beauty of having starships, right? But you will also see some that are, maybe more, like, for example, the Ishida, right? The Melido, you're going to see a lot more of them, for example. But, I think credit to our world team, like, so much time and energy is thought has been put into how do we make this feel like a layered planet or moon or space station.
What's the planet Toshara is orbiting, or can't you say?
It's in the Toshara system, and I think I'm going to leave it at that,
okay.
Unfortunately. but there's a lot of breadth to that system. So the fact that, and I don't know how far you got, but the fact that you're able to explore the savannah, you're able to go to Americana City, go to Jonta's Hope, and then jump in your ship, fly off to Renpali Station and hang out there, and maybe get into a dogfight, bring up your reputation with the Pikes, like all of that. We tried to make it feel like a lived-in moon and experience.
What was your most enjoyable thing about filming the game?
There's so much. It's
I think the most enjoyable part about filming it is getting to film it with the people we got to work with.
Yeah, our team is incredible. Every time we had a new batch, and we travel to Montreal, we all stay in the hotel, and we work together. We go to dinners. We get to know each other. We talk about, wow, I can't believe we're in Star Wars, and also honoring being a part of the franchise. We're all very passionate about it. I think we all put our 110% effort into it. Every day it felt like, wow, I can't believe this is our job. There's like, we get to see the finish line of like, we're almost there. And even a day like today, doing press, meeting fans, seeing people interact with what we've all been a part of and had a hand in creating, it's so surreal.
And chemistry is like everything. So when you get into a new project of any kind, I feel like it lives or dies by chemistry, and we were just chock full of it across the board. So every day we worked was fun, and that type of organic, pleasure in performance is undeniable. So I think it will resonate off the screen, and it'll really just, I think people are eating it up. I really hope they do.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you did to get into character?
Loads. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
You were a droid.
I don't know what to really say. I guess the instrument of the voice has to change. specifically for ND-5 when it comes to me. We film days on end, sometimes weeks, and I find myself talking like this over and over again. And then I leave and I get on the plane and I'm like, you do not need to talk like that anymore. You can express yourself. You can use a different register of your voice. And so, yeah, I think there are some things that I do, whether it's lack of sleep or have some whiskey the night before. That's kind of the physical side of it. And then emotionally, that's just all fun. I mean, look at him. I mean, look at this. Like, look at that. I get to walk onto set and into the volume and become that. And it's just such a joy every day. So, yeah, physically, you're weighted, the way we walk, the way we talk, the cadence of voice. That'd be me.
Yeah, what's really cool about motion capture is that unlike film and TV, there is this aspect of the job that it is so intentional.
Mm-hmm.
You are being recorded quite literally from head to toe. So there's an awareness of your body language that comes through the game that I think it's made me a better actor all throughout, because I'm paying so much attention about how I react and how I naturally, instinctively want to make a choice. As an artist, and SK specifically, she has such a swagger, this confidence, but then there's also times where she has to hide and not give too much. And, you marry that with the voice, which I love the way she expresses herself. We had an incredible script to work with. So it just made it so much fun the fact that you're in motion capture and there's no sets, there's no hair and makeup, there's no props, there's no costumes. Truly all imagination, all creation in your mind's eye, trusting the director and the creators and the storyboards that we get shown so that we capture the tone, but truly it's allowing yourself to be a kid again and play pretend and dive into Star Wars. We truly step into these worlds and have to kind of let go of so much and surrender to the play of it.
How was it like filming? Like, obviously there's a lot of different outcomes. What was it like doing various outcomes for various
It's cool because you see Kay's different points of views and she could really go across the board anywhere. A choice is a choice, and I think she doesn't understand the weight of it until she's on the other side, or she might go, nah, I'm good actually, and then she realizes, shoot, maybe I should have helped them out. But there's never this it's not a end all be all for her. I think she really believes that there's so much opportunity and there's always options. Even when she's in poor reputation, I think she still doesn't give up. She goes, there must be a way out of this somehow. And I love that about her. I think she's not a quitter. She's such a fighter, truly.
It is amazing. How are you always so optimistic?
Not even optimistic. I think when you have nothing and you come from Black, there's truly nothing to lose. I think she's really driven by her relationship to Nex too. That's like her family and her dream, which is, I want to be free. And don't we all want freedom, whatever that means to you, whether it's personal freedom from your own trauma and your own family or friends or lack thereof, but also freedom physically from one place that kept you there and you know that there's more out there. It's just the curiosity of being alive. What's on the other side? Why can't I have some?
Can you share the most fun thing that you filmed?
I mean, I gotta say, anytime they built the Trailblazer on set, that was really cool, because even though we don't have the official set pieces and props, the team does actually accurately build the sets to match what it's going to look like in gameplay. So I got to play with kind of like a Lego version of what would be the Trailblazer. You got the seat and the screen. They even made a handle for when you go into hyperspeed. You got to interact with certain props and things that actually made you feel like a kid again. And I love that. We even had my speeder made out of like metal pieces and wood, and I got to go on it. And there's people who are like moving it, so it feels like I get some like traction on it. So those moments felt like I was at an amusement park.
Yeah, like obviously aside from anything that's, plot-wise climactic and wonderful, amazing, devastating, all that kind of stuff, there are moments when you're on the Trailblazer and you're the character, but you have this moment, like you have an aside in your head. We live here.
Oh
This
yeah.
is like Nyx is running around, and you have a puppeteer that is genuinely, there's a Nyx rubbing its head up against your ankles, and we have just kind of the everyday life stuff that you're filming, and
Yeah.
this is us. We get to do this.
I know.
This is us in this galaxy. This is
Yeah.
our little box. It's really, really special.
And it also speaks to the talent of both of you, because I'd be sitting in the back with my scripts and watching how this all plays out, and there really is physical transformation when they walk out onto the mocap stage. Like, Jay's all chill, looking cool here right now, but then when he steps onto the mocap stage, like, you literally see the hunch, you see the sort of gait start to change. Or I'd look over and Umberly sitting in the pilot's chair, like in full scoundrel mode, with Nyx on her knee. Like, that was just beautiful to watch performance-wise in terms of what they brought to the table. Because writing it, you can sort of imagine, but seeing them physically, literally transform on the mocap stage was something else. So fun. Yeah.
I hope you appreciated the questions I asked and liked the answers that you got. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts on any of the questions and answers. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like to help support the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss any future Star Wars Outlaws videos. And if you did miss any of my previous videos, click on the playlist on screen right now. And I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.